Hello everyone, my name is Johanna Gebriahanis and I'm here at Montclair State University. Today we have the opportunity to interview one of our school's faculty members in the psychology department to talk about the topic of women in leadership. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Deborah Fish-Regan. Hello Dr. Regan.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, so Dr. Regan, I'd like you to first tell our audience who you are, what position you hold, and how many people you supervise, along with how many people have been within your position.
Okay, so I am a full professor of psychology here at Montclair State. I'm now in my 11th year, which means I've been here 10 years. It'll be 11th at the end of this academic school year. And when I think of the number of people I've supervised, including people who've served as TAs and GAs and have been research assistants with me, over the last 10 years, I would say somewhere between 20 and 30.
Okay. Has there ever been a situation where your gender has affected your ability to move within the organization that you worked in?
So here at Montclair, no. I think it's because academia is a little easier for women to move in. And with respect particularly to the faculty lines, um, women are very, very visible at all levels. And so I don't think that has presented to me any unusual or unique problems. Um, I think that some women have said that the upper administration can pose problems for women in terms of movement, but I think that's more in the past. As I look at women now in administration throughout any level in universities, both private and public, I think that they're represented in good numbers, so I don't think that's as much of a problem now as it used to be.
Okay. And has there ever been a time where your gender has affected your ability to lead others?
Um, yes, and I guess I should say it may have been more of a problem for them than for me, but I used to work at Mount Sinai School of Medicine, and there I one time was asked by the chair of emergency medicine to head up two federal grant applications for the hospital. And this was after 9/11, and hospitals were submitting applications for ways to reinforce the physical plan and to install redundant systems to make sure that they could be operative during emergencies. It was quite an honor for me, and I was very honored to be asked to do it. It was an honor that I didn't realize was very coveted by other people as well. And so I encountered a number of problems with other employees of the hospital, very senior level, who were not too happy that I was.
So would you say that those who had wished they had your position or were coveted were people who were of the
Other gender?
Gender?
Yeah. They, the ones who acted out the worst
Okay.
were men,
Okay.
mainly because they either felt slighted, though they weren't, or felt that their opinions were not respected or solicited enough, which they were solicited as much as anyone else. So the only thing that made sense to me was that they really weren't happy that I was leading the team. But still in all, we got the proposals in and submitted a very good quality, but I was tested as a woman.
So finally, Dr. Regan, can you tell us what advice you would give to young women who are aspiring to assume leadership positions within the organizations that they do work in?
Well, there are two things actually. I think that many organizations now have committees or other structures to try and help women who are interested in assuming leadership positions. I know, for example, that the American Psychological Association has what they call a leadership pipeline for women. Their goal is to try to teach women and give them some of the skills and techniques and opportunities to expose themselves to leadership at lower levels in order to prepare them to accept higher leadership roles, like becoming president of the American Psychological Association. There have been a number already, but this is to continue that pipeline. So I would say search out within your organization committees or perhaps informal groups that help women and support women in their efforts to assume more leadership roles. The other would be, I think, just good old common sense from mom and grandma, because I think they have always told us that women can do and assume any position that they want to assume. But we have to be mindful that there are some differences between men and women, and how men and women are received. And we need to understand that those things must be kept in the forefront of our mind as we go forward trying to succeed in the task that we assume. I think often of Hillary Rodham Clinton. I think she's a great role model for women. But I'm also mindful of some of the ways in which, in the initial stages, she sort of encountered some of those expectations about women from men and women. So when she first commented that she was not like a woman baking cookies and standing by her man, that was ill received by much of the public. But I don't think anyone would doubt right now, when you think of Hillary Rodham Clinton, her skills and her ability to be a leader of this country. She studied very carefully while she was a senator, and exercised great skill in learning to work with her male and female senatorial colleagues. And I think she would be seen as being a very, very effective and accomplished female leader. So I think we can look at an example like that and see, well, there are some initial steps that we might stub our toe, but there is a way for her, for women, and she's shown it, to be effective leaders, remembering that they are women and using that as part of their leadership skill package. So I think she's a great example, but she's also an example of what mom and grandma has always told us.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, you heard it from Dr. Reagan about her personal experience being a woman in a leadership position.